All right, two transactions that the Texans made last week. Two notable ones involving the offensive tackles. Cam Robinson was signed to a pretty nice deal, 1 year up to $14 million. I did a video on him yesterday. And Trent Brown, which has been less discussed, and yet Trent Brown is a big name. He's a big man. He's 6'8", 6'7" by some sources. He's huge. But that's a little bit of the problem. As a big man, just like Andre the Giant or Manute Bol or other like oversized human beings, they tend to get injured a good amount. And Trent Brown has played one full season out of the past 6. If this were Trent Brown and he were healthy and he was coming off the year he went to the Pro Bowl, I'd be actually genuinely really excited about it. But the reason that he's available for 1 year, $3 million is that he also had an Achilles tendon tear. Not an Achilles tendon tear. Let me pause this for a second. He had a patellar tendon tear in the third game for the Bengals last year. But when he is healthy, he uses all that length really well. He's got better body control than you expect. He uses those really long arms of his really well. He's played both left and right tackle. This is from a game in 2023 when he was with the Patriots. He had 2 stints with the Patriots, and so there's a common connection there from both Cole Popovich, Nick Caserio, and Nick Caley. They've all had time with him. I think that this is very much maybe in line with like the Cam Akers signing was at the beginning of this last season. He's a guy that's got something in him, but he's had a really bad stretch of injuries. He's also in his 30s, though, so unlike Cam Akers, you might be expecting him to be towards the tail end of his career. I like the signing, especially at the price tag, if only because I think he'll be a good resource for the other players on the team that can pick up the lingo from him, whichever lingo Caley's choosing to use, and some of the concepts and coaching points that he's used from both Cole Popovich and Nick Caley. There's a lot to like about a healthy Trent Brown. It's just a torn patellar tendon. Whoop, that circle was way misplaced there. I apologize. The torn patellar tendon, especially for a guy in his 30s, it's kind of the way you used to look at the old Achilles tendon tears. It's not a great prognosis, and it takes a long time to come back from. Derek Newton had 2 patellar tendon tears, you'll recall. That's a whole nother scenario when you get a double patellar tendon tear. I like this signing. I like him being in the room. I think, as Nick likes to say, you just want to get a guy in the room. You want to see what you have with him. I would expect that he might even start the season on the PUP, but if they need him as a swing tackle at some point, if Blake Fisher isn't progressing, if whatever happens, injuries are going to happen, I like having him around. To answer the question in the title of the video, I wouldn't expect a whole lot from him this year, just because of his injury situation and his injury history. But if you do have to use him in spot duty, or if he has to maybe finish out the season, I think there's some upside there. So it's a low cost to get a guy in the building who has a chance to produce. I also want to look at Grey Zabel at some point when we get a little further along in the video. As UGX Freestyle says, doesn't seem fast, but he's very big, and he's rangy, and he's able to do something that a lot of big guys can't, which is recover. One of those clips in that video, you could see that if a guy gets him, he's able to maneuver and win with his feet and get back into position. When he's healthy, he can be a very, very good offensive tackle. I don't want to hold my breath for a guy with a patellar tendon tear. Josh Simmons, the offensive tackle out of Ohio State, had a patellar tendon tear during the season. He's gonna reportedly participate in his pro day, and we'll see how that goes. I don't know. Maybe they want him to be a buddy next to Josh Simmons so they can be patellar tendon rehab buddies together. But Josh Simmons also is obviously a lot younger. I can see an emphasis on mass. It's like speed for a running back or wide receiver. Hard to coach, and mass usually equals talented O-line-wise, especially if the O-line coach is good at his job. I agree that there's a theme here. I might disagree with you on mass is good. There's plenty of big guys that were too big for the league, but in terms of Trent Brown, yeah, he's shown many times in his career that he's very capable of handling all that mass. I'd say he's been, on average, an average offensive tackle when he's been healthy. He's had some really good years at times. One of his better years was with the Patriots. So there is upside there if he can just recover from that patellar tendon tear. He's played both left and right, so as a swing tackle with veteran experience, I could see a scenario where he might be the best option on a game day if you're really banged up with injuries, even if he's not 100% recovered from that patellar tendon tear. I mean, medically cleared and everything. You're not going to send him back out there and put him in danger, but maybe not as good as he once was. So I like the signing. I want to address one thing because this was curious after my Cam Robinson video. I'm curious what you guys think who saw that. Dana Rex said, you're trying to make something negative out of over half these plays when in fact they are all. Every single one you outlined is a good rep. If you want to show bad film from the Vikings, then do it. Otherwise, stop trying to sell your opinion. Unsubstantiated. Believe it or not, some fans actually enjoy their fandom with sprinkles of hope and not portents of doom. Portents of doom. I thought I was pretty positive about Cam Robinson in that video. I showed some really good plays. I showed a couple of the lesser plays. And I think this is something that sometimes people misunderstand. There's not a single player in the NFL who plays 60 snaps in a game and doesn't have a bad play here or there. Like J.J. Watt, any of these guys, you could go down the list. You're going to find some bad plays in a game. It's not an overall indictment of a player to point out what the strengths and weaknesses are. You got to get over this, Dan. It's not the way life operates. I suspect that you were hard to coach. I suspect that you were overly sensitive as a high school football player. These are areas of improvement or areas of concern, but overall, out of that video, I said, I'm actually pretty cool with Cam Robinson playing left tackle, and he can be part of a good offensive line. The interior offensive line is more where I'm concerned about, which brings us to Grey Zabel. He's going to the Texans in multiple mock drafts. I know that the flavor of the day lately, at least before the Cam Robinson signing, was everybody started sending offensive tackles to the Texans. Grey Zabel I'm intrigued by because as Daniel Jeremiah had a pretty good write-up on him. He's a versatile offensive lineman with excellent toughness and awareness. He lined up at left tackle in 24, but he's played all four positions in his collegiate career. I believe he's best suited to play guard at the next level. I would say guard or center. Quick feet. Stays square, catches and absorbs rushers. His lack of length shows up on the perimeter. So this is what was interesting to me. And I'll just watch a couple clips from Grey Zabel. North Dakota State, for those of you who are uninitiated or unaware. So we'll start off with him at North Dakota State, where he's playing left tackle. And he looks plenty long enough there. He's 6'6". He's very athletic. He does a good job with his feet. I think he looks fundamentally sound in most respects. You can see him out at tackle. He tends to loop his hands at times, or he's got shorter than average arms, especially for an offensive tackle. Not as much of a concern as an offensive guard. But there's a lot to like about him. It's just he's doing it against a lower level of competition in smaller human beings. So at the Senior Bowl, they had him play all over the place. And he had a good showing at the Senior Bowl. You always want to see out of the smaller college guys, all right, what can they do versus guys from bigger schools, bigger, stronger, faster, all of that. And I think the one thing that I noticed from him when I watched him for the first time, I thought he was like 6'3". I thought he was kind of undersized. And that's a positive for some of the clips I'm going to show you because he moves his feet so well. I wasn't as blown away by his performance as a lot of the write-ups and other people gushing about him were. But I thought for a guy that was mostly a tackle in college, if you're projecting him to play interior offensive line, he looks like what you want out of a center, which is he looks like a guy who wrestled in high school. Like he's got really good strength and body positioning, even there where he loses leverage a little bit, but he's manages to keep his feet underneath him. He stays in front of guys. All of that, a lot of times with young offensive linemen, they're trying to win with their hands and their feet get left behind. Kenyon Green was that way a little bit. I'd rather take a guy that has good feet, and you can see, his hands are good. When he's inside, from what I've seen, I actually like his hands better when he's inside. He doesn't let guys get into his chest as much. But this is the one thing that bothers me in these drills also. A lot of these drills, he's jumping the snap count. He's doing a quick set, and he's doing it before the D lineman's even seeing the ball move. Oh, come on, man. This is the defensive lineman in me that gets a little PO'd about it. Look at him. He's got a full step on a short set towards the defensive tackle before the ball moves. Maybe that's a center. These college centers, they haven't been in enough training camp fights yet to understand how to operate these drills. I'm intrigued by him. I think the question is, man, he had a promising showing at the Senior Bowl versus a higher level of competition, but how do you extend that out to the NFL? I could see him on the inside being a guy that's just tough and scrappy and really keeps his feet moving, knows how to position his hips and all of that. You guys know how I feel about offensive linemen. Trying to project them into the NFL it's real. I don't know how people do it because there's so many technique things that need to be cleaned up. It's like your average non-Cam Smith rookie baseball player all of a sudden being thrown into the major leagues. There's just so many little minute details, and he's got to clean some of them up. But I was actually encouraged by the way he used his hands on the inside as opposed to the outside. Let's see, saw a new OT today, Jalen Travis from Iowa State, 6'8", 339 pounds. If size is a theme, that'll be interesting to see what we see in the draft. Rob, this is where I disagree with you with almost anybody you take in the draft. I never believe anybody's going to be an instant upgrade. If you think about even the really good offensive linemen, especially, a lot of times in training camp, the guys that end up being good as rookies, they improve a lot in the first 3 weeks of training camp. Remember Mike McGlinchey, when he was a rookie with the San Francisco 49ers? He came to the Texans for a combined practice, and J.J. Watt just destroyed him, like used him like a blocking dummy. It was bad. Like Mike McGlinchey got his butt kicked, and it was versus J.J. Watt, obviously. But I'm telling you, they were bad reps. And he's been just fine as an offensive tackle in the NFL. So one of our most athletic guys ever at center. That might be that might be fair to say, but you got to be able to translate it. I get nervous about saying anybody's going to be an instant upgrade. There's always they all look promising. Let's see. Has anyone ever come straight out of college to be a dominant interior offensive lineman? Doesn't it take at least a couple seasons to develop in the NFL? Off the top of my head, I can't give you the names, but I would say yes. And Quentin Nelson, I believe his rookie year ended up being really good. Right off the bat. So it does happen. It's just, whether they're, Dwayne Brown as an offensive tackle is the other end of the extreme. It took him a few years to really figure it out and get it. And then he was consistently one of the better guys in the league. So I'm going to update on the membership situation. I was trying to figure out a way to do memberships and charge like 25 cents a month or like whatever the lowest amount that you could charge is, mostly just so I can have longer live streams that don't hurt my SEO. There's just I'm having fun tinkering with all the YouTube algorithm stuff. It's my little pet project, but they won't allow me to charge any less than 99 cents a month. And I feel that's punitive to college and high school kids and what have you, or some of you that may be out of work at the moment. I know it's $1 a month, all right? There's something that I don't like about it. I'm going to try to figure out a way to have private or restricted live streams, but without having to pay anything for it. So please, subscribe. I'm going to watch some more Grey Zabel and either try to talk myself out of him or more into him. It's that kind of year. Drives me insane.